We are 15 seconds in today's broadcast. I'm serious, I need an intro. Sometimes I literally just burst in completely silent. I need to test this mic, y'all. Guys, can you hear me? Hey, everybody. How are you? Hope you had a fantastic weekend. And you're ready for a brand new week. Just trying to set myself up here. Thank you for taking a few minutes out of your very busy schedule to be with me for a few moments. Let me just make absolutely sure that you, Chembe Mulela, thank you. Thank you. Bless you. Elijah, bless you. A few shout outs before we begin. Good morning. Good morning, honey. It's loud and clear. That's Ty D. Souza Carter. Hey, Ty D. I'm not sure if that's how you say your name. Ty D. Thank you, Ty D. You're so kind. Bless you. Just trying to get myself sorted. Please jump on. I won't keep you long, I promise. Sylvester Grant says you're audible. Yes. Yes, they do pay me. It's not a secret. You won't see me drinking any other water apart from these guys. That's the truth. All right. Thank you so much. Ty D. Ty D. Souza says, she says, that's correct, love. That's so warm. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Okay, guys. Few things I wanted to talk to you about. Today, I want you to know that this vlogging space that we occupy as vloggers, it is a science. Now, I know that there are many Zambian vloggers who have stumbled upon their fame and their social media presence, stumbled upon their fame by way of just doing what they love. There are people out there that throw out content and they've gained a huge audience, not by any mathematical calculations, not by any deliberate machinations, for lack of a better word, but they have gained the audiences, many of them, not all of them, many of them have gained the audiences they have simply because they love to do what they do. But the bottom line is the vlogging space has a science. There's a science to it. And the more you grow your page, the more you will begin to appreciate this. Okay? So today, I'd like to talk to you about, I'm going to give you three things your audience hates about your content. Now, these are universal laws. They apply everywhere. It doesn't matter if you're in Kwakasomokuchinsari. It doesn't matter if you're Kukabompo. It doesn't matter if you're from Nashville, Tennessee, or Bogalusa, or Shreveport, Louisiana. It doesn't matter if you're from Mobile, Alabama. These laws apply universally, and they apply to everybody, both you and I. And I'm going to go through them very quickly. And this should be of great interest to you that want to go into vlogging. I speak to so many people that inbox me or they call me and they say, Mr. Moyle, I want to be a vlogger, but I'm afraid, I'm scared. I don't know where to begin. I don't have the equipment. And I always tell them the same thing. Don't worry about that. Just start doing what you love. There's some people that love gardening. There's a whole world. There's a whole audience. Guys, can you hear this? Can you hear me? I got to ask you. You said loud and clear. Are we loud and clear? Hold on a second. Just a moment. Okay. I just got to make sure. All right. So, and I tell them all the time, say, just start with what you have. Don't think about getting huge equipment and expensive equipment. Start where you are and start putting out content that you love, things that you love. There are people that love aviation. There are people that love dogs. Find your niche. Niche, that's the word, your niche. Find your specialty, okay? And you don't have to be overly qualified to, as long as it's something that you love to do. And of course, put out correct content. Don't disperse content that is false, that's inaccurate, that's misleading, as long as your content is accurate. So let's begin. The number one thing that your audiences hate, or your audience hates, is bad sound. This is something I had to learn. And let me also mention on the outset that what I'm bringing to you is something that I've learned from, there's a guy named Bob Powell who runs a page called Awesome Video Makers. I mean, this guy he says it in the most simplistic way, and it's fantastic. So when I saw him share this, I felt it incumbent upon me to share it with you. Remember, Maya Angelou once famously said that when you learn, teach. When you receive, give. And since I love vlogging, I know that it's important for me to impart to you certain lessons I've learned along the way that have helped me tremendously. And I know that if these lessons have helped me, which they have, I know that they will help you that are planning or thinking, you're sort of working around this idea of becoming a vlogger. So the number one thing is sound. Bad sound. Guys, trust me, and I know this to be true, it doesn't matter how great your camera is. It doesn't matter how fantastic your lighting angles are. As long as your sound is bad, your audience switches off. Here's the rule. You can get away with bad picture to a degree, but you can never, ever, 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 ever get away with bad sound. If the sound that you're putting out to your audience on your videos, on your vlogs, on your blogs, on your podcasts, if your sound is bad, if your sound is it's not audible, there's a lot of distortion, it's muffled, you're not clear when you're speaking or when you're putting out your content, if your sound is bad, your audience switches off. You can always get away with bad quality picture, but you can never get away with bad quality sound. So here's the rule. Invest in sound. Now, that doesn't mean go out and buy big audio microphones. I mean, it took me, I've been on Facebook a little over 8 years. I just recently bought a Shure's microphone. I mean, this microphone here costs about $450. It's an investment because, once you get to a certain place on social media, you need to begin to invest in your product, in your content, in your page. But in the beginning, you don't have to burst out the door with a Shure microphone. You can just get a regular lavalier mic, the little pin mics. If you can't get that, start with the sound on your phone. But make sure that your settings on your phone, your sound is good so that people can get what you're saying. If the sound is bad, they switch off. That's number one. Sound is really, really important. Number two, lack of empathy. Do you know what the word empathy means? Lots of people don't have, lots of people I speak to on a regular basis don't have the faintest, foggiest idea what empathy means or empathy is. Empathy is basically putting yourself in someone else's shoes, feeling what they're feeling. When you are touched with the infirmities of your audience or people that you address, you go a long way. And here's the rule. When you're putting out content, it's not about you. It's about your audience. It's about what's important to them. When you have empathy, when you feel what they're feeling, when you become relatable to them, it puts you in good standing with your audience. Whenever if all you're doing is taking selfies and it's just you and you're not adding value to your audience, it's just you're just taking selfies and videos of yourself. To a degree, your audience will tolerate that. But after a while, they'll think, wait a minute. This is all about you. It's got nothing to do with me as the audience. So as a vlogger, and guys, this is really important. This is really, really important. You have to know this. Because sometimes I think we lose sight of the fact that when people are teaching us and giving us valuable tips, oftentimes the temptation is, oh no, you're just jealous. No, these are universal laws. So have empathy, connect with your audience, give them value. It's not always just about you and your selfies, okay? Give value. That's number two. Number three, show some vulnerability. Don't always give the impression, and I know this is difficult to do because especially, there's certain vloggers, they don't want their private life to be out on social media. I'm one of those. I'm one of those that believes that not every nook and cranny of my personal life should be on social media. This is what I believe. I think you have to strike a balance. Remember, Madonna once said that. She said, strike a pose. Well, you need to strike a balance. There's certain people that they're fine with putting every aspect, every nook and cranny, every nuance of their personal life on social media. And if that works for you, it works for you. Okay? I'm not going to sit here and knock it. There are people out there, there are couples out there that do the basis of their videos and their content is about them. It's about their marriage, their union, and you're fine to do that. Okay? But then there are people that don't want to do that. To those, I say, show some vulnerability. Show a part of you every once in a while that sort of tells your audience that there are days you're sad. There are days that you're not in the mood. There are days that you're angry. There are days that you feel vulnerable. There are days that you feel a bit uneasy or scared or worried. Of course, you don't have to do this on a roll. I'm not suggesting that you jump on every single time and start telling us, lamenting about your woes and how life is unfair to you. No, the direct opposite is true. If you swing too much to one side, you turn off your audience. You don't want a video vlogger or a vlogger that constantly comes on your screen talking about how, oh, life is just terrible. Oh, I think I'm going to die. No. Madonna said strike a pose. I'm saying strike a balance. Okay? Strike a balance. All right. Those are the 3 tips. Now, the other thing I want to talk to you about is I wanted to ask you a question. Should Zambian politicians be held accountable for what they do in private? What do you think? Tell me in the comments below. Because I think in Zambia we have this idea that no, those are private matters. We've got nothing to do with that. We would just want to know if you can deliver. What do you think about that? Because I'm of the school of thought that yes, your private life does matter. If you're going to serve in a high-profile political position, I want to know everything I can about you. Of course, I as the electorate, as people that vote, we don't know every single thing, but what we can know, we should know. Oh, that's a good one. What we can know, we should know. You remember a while ago, there's a public faux pas, a big public fumble by one of the ministers. It was all the whole world saw it, you know, and he was fired as a direct consequence of what he was doing in private. So there's some of you that say, well, no, that was between him and whoever that was. We don't want to know about that. Well, no, I disagree with that. I think that we should know what goes on if we can know what it is. And that information helps us make an informed decision, because oftentimes I think Zambians, we don't value accountability. And this is the reason sometimes we end up with the politicians that we have. You know, these guys that run around, they say one thing and then they do something else. And of course, democracy is something that we're learning, okay? We've only been at it for a little over 43 years, okay? Our friends have been doing it for more than 300 years, okay? So I understand that we're still learning the ropes of democracy. But even in this dispensation of social media, electronics, the superhighway, the information superhighway, I think it's important for us to know what we can about a candidate and make an informed decisions. Zambians, by and large, do not make informed decisions. What is an informed decision? An informed decision means I know what I know about you, and based upon that, I make a decision. If, for instance, if a candidate believes in abortion, okay, this is me. I'm a voter. I'm going to give you a practical example. So this is my voter's card. And then someone is running for a particular position. And on the campaign trail, this person says, I'm going to introduce abortion. Abortion will be free for all. Well, I'll look at that person and say, well, based upon that information, and because I'm anti-abortion, I'm not going to vote for you. My vote is an informed vote. I've decided not to vote for thus and so because he or she says they will make abortion legal. So based on that one piece of information, I decide as a voter, well, you're not going to have my vote. Now, if let's say a candidate doesn't say anything, I don't know anything about that candidate. I don't know what they stand for. I don't know what they do. I have no idea. about the things they do, what they stand for, the principles they hold fast to. How can I vote for someone I know nothing about? These are the questions you must begin to ask yourself late at night when the dew dries and the dust settles. Why am I voting for so-and-so? Am I voting for them because I'm making an informed decision, or am I just going with the wind? Guys, I've made no apologies for this, and I'll never make any apologies. There's a guy right now that's running for the mayor of this city. To me, he is the worst candidate to ever grace any ballot box. The worst. Why? Because everything about him is duplicitous. He'll say one thing today and then say something else tomorrow. He'll curse and insult you today and then turn around and say, "Oh no, I've repented. Just forgive me. After all, I'm just a human. I've repented." And then many of you Dwanzi followers, because the truth is many of you are Dwanzi. I mean, that's just a fact. I don't mean to sound insulting, but if you're going to go to the voters booth and vote for such a person, then you're not informed. You're making a decision based on what? Fluff. Make an informed decision. Now, I know there's some of you right now, you're going to start saying it in the comment. No, Moab, it's because you're jealous. Jealous of what? I'm not a politician. I would be jealous if I was taking part in the race and he was my political opponent. Then you can say, I'm just trying to disenfranchise him. But I'm just talking as a voter. I'm speaking to you as a voter. There's no way a voter, a candidate can on one side say, call for the arrest of so-and-so. And then in the same breath, the same person says, no, don't arrest that one. No, that one, that one you don't touch. So what do you stand for? And guys, hear my heart. Don't vote for people that say to you, I don't have a job, so give me a job. That's not the reason people serve. Come on, guys. There's some of you that are so simple-minded. You're simpletons. Simple. You know what a simpleton is? A simpleton is someone that just tells you any sub story and you believe it. Where in the world in this dispensation 2020, look, guys, this is not 1942 where people are not informed, where information travels at a snail pace. No, man, this is 2021. Everything is lightning speed. And yet there's some of you still sit on your little comfortable couches, twiddling your thumbs and saying things like, no, just give him a chance because after all, he has no job. Just give him a job so that he stops begging for 30 pieces of silver. Just give him a job. What? Where have you heard of such a thing? You know what that's like? That's like someone on the street. And this is a Zambian thing. I don't know where we get this. It annoys me to no end. The guys on the street will ask you for money. And they'll say to you, may I please have some money? I'm asking you for money. It's better than me robbing you. What the hell does that mean? So let me get this straight. You are begging me for money, and you're saying that if I give it to you, you will not rob me. Yes, it's better namilomba. Ukuchira okumibira. The most ridiculous, the most archaic, the most Neanderthal attitude I've ever heard in my life. And the average Zambian voter thinks like that. So here it is. Now we have a candidate, or there's a candidate out there that says, Give me a job so that I don't insult people. Give me a job so that I don't have to twerk for my money. Give me a job so that I don't have to extort money from ministers. And you, Dwanzi registered voters, you run to the polling stations. The most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my whole life. Do you see the caliber of politicians we have? Do you see this? Insane. Anyway, thought I'd share that with you. God bless. Vote wisely. Peace.